Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the first Master Duel Banlist. So if you go over here in notifications and you hit this is the Forbidden Limited List update. So it looks like they're going to be updating the Forbidden Limited List on May 9th, which is just about 2 weeks from now. And it says that they have compiled trends and results of the decks used in Master and Ranked Duels and will limit cards and decks with outstandingly high usage and wood rates in line with the impact on the metagame. So it's basically just describing like how a banlist works. Basically, they're going to be changing the cards that are going to be like limited, semi-limited, because obviously some of them might be a little bit too powerful. So it says this is the first revision of the Forbidden Limited List, and the extent of the limitations take into account new cards that will be added to Master Duel in the future. So essentially in this line right here, they're just talking about DPE, but we'll get to that in a minute. Anyways, the cards that are going to be limited is Cyber Angel Benten and Conquistador of the Golden Land. So Benten's obvious, like, they should have limited Benten. It makes sense. I don't think that there's any reason for them not to limit Benten. Drytron is just like broken, especially with triple Benten. Like that is like why the deck is like so broken right now. So limiting the Benten is like totally fine. And even as a Drytron player, like I'm 100% fine with this. This is like a good hit. As for Conquistador, that's like really weird. If you're not familiar with what one Conquistador it is, it's the one that pops if you control Eldritch. So it's like fine, but like realistically they should have just hit Sanguine, because Sanguine is like the one that gets them to Eldritch, you know what I mean? So like you can play other cards in Eldritch that get Eldritch to the field without playing Sanguine. Like Sanguine is definitely more of a problem than Conquistador is. It's really weird that they are hitting Conquistador. I'm kind of okay with it though, because like it does hit the grind game of Eldritch, and you can't exactly just like pop a card every single turn, which is like kind of a problem with Eldritch. But I think realistically what they should have done is just limit like skill drain. Like skill drain is such a big problem, but they're not touching that like at all, and that's really annoying. I don't know why that they're doing that, like hitting Conk and not skill drain. Like skill drain's clearly like a bigger issue, especially with no side deck. But whatever. Cards to be semi-limited. DD Dynamite. So this one's actually one that is pretty good. If I'm being honest, DD Dynamite going to 2 means that you have to draw both copies if you're playing Banquet FTK. What I mean by this is, if you need to trap trick into DD Dynamite, then you're only getting one DD Dynamite, because DD Dynamite's at 2, and trap trick you have to banish one to set one from deck. So you have to always have 2 copies in deck. In order to do the Banquet FTK, you have to have 2 DD Dynamites set. And so the really good thing about the deck right now is that you can trap trick and set the second one from deck while you already have the third one on your spell and trap zone. Or I guess the first one and then the third one are in your deck. You get the idea. You need to have 3 in order to trap trick into the third one. So DD Dynamite going to 2 means that you can't actually Banquet FTK unless if you're drawing both copies of DD Dynamite. So it's going to be really hitting the consistency on this deck, and so that's great. I am completely okay with this. Sekka's Light. So this is a really weird one. In the TCG, we have this at 1, and honestly, I kind of don't agree with it. I think that Sekka's Light is such a cool card because it promotes like really cool deck building ideas, because you just have to play a bunch of monsters in your deck with no spells and traps, and I think that's actually really cool. And the problem with it in Master Duel, obviously, is that you can't really like you can't play spell and trap removal in your deck, which makes it like already a big problem, because if you just get paired against an Eldritch deck and they flip skill drain, you just auto lose. Like you can't do anything. So I think that like honestly Sekka's Light's like fine. Like I don't know why this is getting semi-limited. It doesn't really make sense. My guess is that they're just hitting like at Emancipator, because Emancipator's probably going to be the deck that plays this the most. So it's kind of weird that they're hitting this. I'm not exactly too sure why, but like that would be my guess. And I find it to be really weird. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Fusion Destiny. So you might be asking why this is getting hit, because no decks are playing this right now in Master Duel. And if you're not familiar with the TCG, you're not going to understand why at all. But if you are familiar with the TCG, obviously this is just Destroy Your Phoenix Enforcer. It's going to be coming in the next set, I believe, that gets released on Master Duel. So we are for sure getting DPE within the next 3 months, assuming that they update a ban list every 3 months in Master Duel. So yeah, Fusion Destiny, this is just like a 1-card DPE, obviously just free. It's broken. There's nothing to say about that. If you're unfamiliar with the TCG, then I guess you should probably like go watch like a couple matches of the TCG to get an understanding of this, but basically you just get like a free Dryden in every single deck. So that's like really broken, and it comes back every single turn, so it's really dumb. Fandom Knights of Torn Scales. This is really weird. I don't exactly get this one either. I mean, it's also like the consistency of Phantom Knights, but like, just ban Rongo. Just ban Rongo. Like, if you're hitting Phantom Knights, just ban Rongo. What are you doing? That card is broken. Like, and even if you do ban Rongo, like, it's still, the deck's still 100% playable, especially because DPE is coming out. Like, you can still Scythe Lock. Like, why? Just like, why hit the consistency of the deck when like you can hit the most broken card of the deck and then still keep the deck fair? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that Torn Scales going to 2 is just like a really dumb choice on their end. I'm not really a big fan of this. Tri-Brigade Fractal. This is like fine. It's fine. Like, I don't know. Tri-Brigade's not like that broken. Especially because like the Zoo variant and the Leerlusk variant are both around in Master Duel right now, and it's kind of like picking between the 2 decks, and I think it's like okay. There's not really like a card in Tri-Brigade that's like super broken. Like, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, Tri-Brigade's probably one of the most fair decks right now in Master Duel compared to every other deck. It's still like a really good deck, don't get me wrong, but like realistically, like this deck is like not nearly as broken as any of the other decks that just put like a really degenerate monster on field. Moving on, we have Virtual World Roshi Lao Lao. This makes no sense. Why Lao Lao of all cards when like you could hit Lulu? Like, Lulu's the searcher. Like, you semi-limit Lulu. Even then, you shouldn't hit Lulu. You should be hitting the VFD, which is True King of all Calamities. Like, Calamities is clearly the problem card of Virtual World. Like, Calamities is so stupidly broken, and they're just ignoring it. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I don't know. They should have definitely hit that instead. Cobalt Sparrow, also, this doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, Cobalt Sparrow's the brown one. That one's the one that searches a Winged Beast, I think, if I remember correctly. Like a level 1 Winged Beast. It's like fine, but also they should have just hit Turquoise. Like, Turquoise is the starter. I don't know. I find this to be really weird too. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense like either. It's like fine. Also, like, Tri-Brigade Leerlusk is like not even that broken, so like whatever. Prank Kid Roxy's. So you might initially think that this is a hit to Prank Kids. I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure that it's actually a hit to Emancipator, because Prank Kids already play 2 copies of Roxy's. They don't usually max out on Roxy's. So, like, if you're hitting Prank Kids, why would you hit Roxy's? If you're hitting Prank Kids, you should definitely just be hitting Meow to 1. Yeah, definitely, like, is like the way to do it. Like, in the TCG, that's what we did, and it's like, it's fine. The deck's like relatively fair. Just like standalone in a vacuum, and obviously in the TCG we have like the Adventure Engine, but I don't want to go off on a tangent. That clearly like made the deck better, but regardless, Prank Kids Roxy is going to 2 isn't going to change Prank Kids. What it is going to do is make it so that when you use your Emancipator effects, you have a less chance to hit Roxy's, which means you have a less chance to go into a prank line and get a bunch of extenders on your Emancipator cards. Speaking of which, Emancipator Analyzer is going to 2 as well. I find this to also be kind of weird. Analyzer is the weirdest one to hit, because I think that the best Emancipator is Researcher by far, because you just have to control a rock monster and you just summon it for free. So she's like the best one by far. But Analyzer is a level 4 and there's only one of it, so like I guess hitting it to 2 is like fine, but I don't know. Also, it's really weird that Sekka's Light, Roxy's, and Analyzer all got semi-limited, so those are all hits to at Emancipator, or at least like directly or indirectly, which is so weird to me. Like, I feel like if you're gonna hit at Emancipator, like, you hit Block Dragon and the deck's still fine. Like, it's still 100% playable. So they should have hit Block Dragon, they should have hit Rongo, they should have hit VFD, probably should have hit Ava, if I'm being honest. The rest of it's like fine, I guess, like the Fractal and Cobalt Sparrow, I don't know. And then it looks like Red MD is going to 3. This card, if you're unaware, had an errata. It used to not be once per turn, so you could just like infinitely bring back like dragons as soon as like each time you brought it back, which is like so broken. But now obviously it doesn't have the errata anymore, so there's no reason to keep it on. I don't think it ever had the errata on Master Duel, so like yeah. Anyways, dismantling bonuses. So this is actually kind of cool. It looks like every time you dismantle the card between May 9th and June 9th, if it's on the Forbidden Limited list, at least like a new card, I believe. I think it doesn't exactly say if it's a new one or not, but like anyways, you get 20 extra points for dismantling the card. So for example, if you have like 2 extra copies of Benten now, you can dismantle those and get 30 points each, because you're going to get the initial 10 and then 20 extra per copy, so 30 for each copy. So you're just going to get basically your craft points back. So it's completely free basically. So you have a whole month to do that, so you have plenty of time, which is pretty nice. And then also, I think if you have a glossy, then you're still going to get the glossy points, and then you're just going to get the 20 added on that. So I think it's 15 to dismantle a glossy, if I remember correctly. So then you're going to get the 20 on top of that, I believe. I could be completely wrong, but that's what it seems like they're saying here. But yeah. And then for future notices, it sounds like they're going to be giving us 2 weeks notice before they apply a ban list to Master Duel. So that's actually pretty nice. So you will have about a week or so to play the old list in like the May format. So you still have a chance to get like Platinum 1 with the old Forbidden Limited list, even though like this list is realistically not going to change like anything outside of like maybe hit the Banquet FTK, which I am totally fine with. So overall thoughts on this list, I give it like a 3 out of 10, honestly. Like, they hit a couple of cards that were like really good and really solid, like hitting the Banquet FTK is really nice, but like realistically, they missed a lot of problem cards. They just glanced over them and then decided to just go for consistency instead. And honestly, I don't think that that's the way to do it. I think that you should realistically hit the problem cards because they're problem cards, and you shouldn't hit the cards that get to the problem cards. You should just hit the problem cards and call it good. So, yeah, I'm not going to be excited for, Scythe format when DPE gets released also, but, whatever. I'm also not going to be excited to play against any Virtual World players or Phantom Knights players for the next 3 months, but, you can't exactly have everything you want. So that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about this ban list, and I'll talk to you guys later.